Blah, 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 blah. Good evening, and welcome back to the SRX broadcasted split. We are here at South Boston Speedway for the first broadcast split of the second season of this broadcast, and I'm very happy to have everyone back. Looks like we got 11 people. Looks like we got 11 people registered for this. So we got we got a pretty good field shaping up here, just waiting for the session to go up. All right, loading into the session right now. So we will have a feed up very shortly. Looks like we got 12 people registered for this session. So we should have a treat here. SOF right now looking to be 2309. So a strong SOF for the first broadcasted split. A strong showing from all these drivers. And we got some familiar faces and some new faces here. So looking forward for a good race that will hopefully signal the start of a good season. Okay, let's get that on the board. Alrighty. Got that on the screen. Drivers doing warm-ups right now. Or not really warm-ups, but practice laps. Very tough combo here. It gets very loose, and then it tends to tighten up a lot on exit. So tire management is key, both the front and the rear tires. You want to keep them very tidy here. Barrett Canning came runner-up in the Wednesday split behind Colton Light. He was looking very fast. He is my current pick for the win here. And he set the fastest lap in practice right now, a 15.632 for the driver of that number 2 car. Practice just wrapping up now. Zeros all on the board. We are going into qualifying for the first broadcasted race of the season right now. Let's see who is first to hop into qualifying. First person to take the leap is the number 5 of Jace Nelson. I believe this is his second ever SRX broadcasted race. Let's see what time he can set. Running a little bit wide on exit here. Getting a little bit too early, getting a little bit too eager on the gas. If you get on the gas too much, the car just won't turn the last quarter of the lap that you need it to. 16.175 for Jace Nelson. Looking at Barrett Canning to see what lap he sets as he comes to his flying lap right now. Lap number 2. 15.615 on the board for Barrett Canning. That'll move him up to pole position. Let's see if he can improve on that. Very strong lap from this 2 car. 615 is the time for himself to beat. And let's see what he sets, a 619, so just barely slower on lap number 2, but he has a firm grip on the pole position. Asher Hansen running really high up to get a good run into turn 1 here. Keeping it very low in the corners is going to be crucial to qualifying speed. And I tell you what, Asher Hansen doing a good job of keeping it nice and low. Let's see what time this will net them. 15.889. Let's see if they can set a better lap this time by. Driver that one car keeping it very composed, but might be a little bit too slow through the corners. Cross line 8-7 or 8-1-1, I apologize, for Asher Hansen. So that will move them into the 4th position for tonight's event. Jared Carter in the 4 coming out of turn 4. Big slide across the stripe at 15.907. So looks like your pole sitter will be Barrett G. Canning. And let's get your starting lineup up on the board real quick. On pole is the number 2 of Barrett G. Canning. And on his outside is the number 7 of Chad Bremer. Great qualifying effort from Chad in that number 7 car. In 3rd is Nico Cipollini in that number 8 car. Great qualifying effort for him as well. And in 4th, just mentioned, was the number 1 of Asher Hansen. In 5th is the number 4 of Jared Carter, kicking off row number 3 with Nicholas Gotts on his outside. Mike Jones inside of row number 4 in the number 3 car, and on his outside is number 6 of Zach Hummel. Starting off row number 5 is going to be car number 5. Jace Nelson starts off in 9th with James R. Batzer on his outside. Rounding out the field is row number 6, cars 10 and 11 respectively, starting 11th and 12th, Drew Brent and Steve Anderson. So just waiting for the last driver to grid, and then we will start rolling here. Great view of the field right here. You can see just a little bit of Chad Bremer's on the outside, starting on outside pole. But 2 pace laps around here before we can really turn them loose. And the question will be, how well can that outside line get to the inside? Because Chad Bremer, you know, he's starting in 2nd, but he's going to have a heck of a time trying to get down to the bottom, because he's got Asher Hansen right behind him. He's got Nico Cipollini, who's looking very fast, in 3rd. And of course he has Barrett Canning on his inside, one of the fastest drivers in this series. So going to be certainly very interesting for Chad, but pace car about to pull into pit lane and turn them loose here for the first race of the 2nd season of the SRX broadcasted split. Pace car is in waiting on Barrett, and Barrett gets the jump, and he's gonna get a nice jump over the rest of the field. Coming into 1, Chad Bremer has Cipollini on his inside, Hansen all over his back end, a little bit loose from Bremer, gonna kill his momentum up top, but he's gonna try to get that run to clear Cipollini so he can dive to the inside. Hansen gonna try to follow suit. Bremer's clear of Cipollini right now. A little bit of contact between Cipollini and Hansen. Bremer's clear of the 8 car. So now Cipollini having to deal with the 1 of Hansen on the outside. Hansen not clear just yet of the 8 car. Cipollini really sends it in there. He's getting very tight through the center of the corner. But now Hansen gets by. Jared Carter all over the back end of Cipollini, entering the corners. Big slide from the 4 car. And he's got Mike Jones all over his back bumper. Right now, Barrett Canning pulling away from Chad Bremer. Further in the back, Jason Nelson just made a move on Zach Hummel. I think Hummel got a little bit sideways and had to chase it up the track. Closest battle right now is between... Whoa, Cipollini sending it in too hard. He's going to go around, backs it into the outside wall. He's going to get that car back going, but those rear tires are certainly to be super hot. So he's going to have to take care of them for a little bit as he has to face Zach Hummel on his inside. Mike Jones has snuck his way to the inside of Jared Carter. He's going to have the preferred line coming into turn 1, side by side for 4th place. Carter wisely lets Jones by without too much of a fuss. So now move Mike Jones into the 4th position. Whoa, big slide from Asher Hansen as we were just tuning into them. They're getting around the 10 of Drew Brent. As I was just about to say that Hansen was really closing in on Chad Bremer. But after that slide, Hansen fell back considerably to Bremer. But the battle for 4th place is still heating up between Mike Jones and Jared Carter. Maybe a little bit of a shot from Carter. Jones is unfazed entering turn 3 and 4. Both drivers keeping their composure here as Barrett Canning has stretched his lead to 1.1 seconds over Chad Bremer. But all eyes are on the 3 and 4 car respectively battling for 4th place. Carter really trying to get a drive off as they navigate the 10 car of Drew Brent. They get past him without too much of a fuss, and they are closer than ever. Here comes Carter taking a look to the outside. Not pleased with how slow Mike Jones was going on entry. Carter peeked to the outside, got to his quarter panel, but Jones had the shortest way around the track, and here at South Boston, that's the place you want to be, is on the inside. Carter's still trying to make that outside, or at least a diamond through the corner work. And I tell you what, he's keeping on the back end of Jones for right now, as Jones got a little bit sideways exiting the corner, and Carter's really getting tight on entry, it seems, into 3 and 4, because he's moving up about half a lane. But battle for 2nd has heated right back up with Asher Hansen making up a lot of ground on Chad Bremer. Maybe Bremer's trying to save his stuff. Knows that burning up your stuff here is going to be very costly, but you want to protect that inside line, so trying to find a good medium of speed and tire saving. As whoa, I think Hansen was trying to make a move to the outside of Bremer and did not expect Steve Anderson to be there, but only light contact between Anderson and Hansen. As Anderson, something happened with him. I don't know if he broke an axle, but that car just went straight into the corner. He's going to park it up top. But now Hansen got to the inside of Bremer. Bremer gets on the wall a little bit. So it looks like Hansen's going to have the move made unless Bremer tries a crossover here. Oh, a little bit of a slide from Hansen, but still enough to keep a lead over Bremer. We'll check back in on this battle. Nico Cipollini, whoa, almost contact with Nicholas Gotts, really sent it in the corner. 3 wide, oh, this is going to be hairy. Gotts got into the inside wall a little bit as Cipollini was trying to navigate the 10 car. I don't think Cipollini was expecting Gotts to jump to his inside, but Cipollini all over the back end of Jace Nelson, currently running 6th right now. A very quiet race for that 5 car, but Cipollini going to make Nelson's life a lot harder right here with 36 laps to go. But Cipollini waiting for the perfect time to strike on Nelson for 5th place. This is the closest battle on track right now between Cipollini and Nelson. I tell you what, Jace Nelson doing a good job holding that inside line. He's going to have to force Cipollini to either move him out of the way or take the long way around here. And with Nicholas Gotts right behind him running somewhat equal speed, that's going to be very tough for the 8 car to do without getting a little physical, which is what this track is all about. This track is the definition of hell in a cell. And sometimes you do have to use that front bumper. Nelson did not get a good drive off the corner. Here comes Cipollini trying to make the outside work here at South Boston. This is something you don't see every day. Whoa, Nelson gets a little bit sideways contact with Cipollini, but Cipollini made the outside work here, and now Nelson having to contend with Gotts on his outside, and that's Zach Hummel right behind him as well. So Hummel going to catch up to the back end of Nelson. Nelson almost slides up into Gotts, so it looks like Nelson's dealing with a very tight race car here compared to some of the other drivers. But both Nelson and Gotts locked about side by side. Not a lot for Hummel to do. Nowhere for him to go, really. As Nelson would be wise to let Gotts by. But now doing so has brought Zach Hummel to his back bumper. Hummel peeks to the inside of Nelson. Nelson gives him the space, but going to have to drive off the corner. He's going to seal off that bottom. Going to make Hummel do the same thing that Cipollini did. Run the outside. And Hummel's going to try to work that outside here. Side by side for the 7th position. Hummel's going to get the run off the corner. Nelson's going to have the shorter way around the track here. About dead even entering turn 1, but Hummel's going to have the drive through the center. And on exit, Hummel's ahead. Jace is only at the quarter panel right now. And it looks like Hummel's going to get the move done. Oh, a little bit of contact again between Nelson and Hummel. They both keep it straight. Great car control from Hummel to not get spun around and to keep that 6 car straight. A look at our leader, Barrett Canning. He's led all the laps so far as we approach 25 laps to go here at South Boston. And he has been absolutely perfect. He's pulled about a 2-second gap over Asher Hansen. And I think he's just trying to save his stuff as Chad Bremer really reeling in Hansen once again. Only about half a second out. And if Bremer did a better job of saving his stuff than Hansen, Bremer might have something within 10 laps or so. Further back through the field, right behind these guys, is Mike Jones and Jared Carter still at it. Granted, Carter about 0.4 of a second behind Jones. And Bremer is about half a second behind Hansen. As you just saw Drew Brent letting the 3 and the 4 car by up on the high side. Gets in the wall a little bit. That was probably a little bit scary for Carter. But if you're Jared Carter, you got to be sick of seeing that blue car right in front of you. You want some fresh air. You want a new sight in front of you. It's like that. It's like a car sitting in front of you in traffic. You want to get past them to look at something else. Further in the back, oh, we got James Batzer showing his appreciation to Jace Nelson, holding him up a little bit. Nelson trying to just run a clean race, gonna let Batzer by. Or is he? I thought he was gonna try to make a run on the outside, but Batzer now gets past Nelson for the 8th position. Battle still raging for 4th place between Jones and Carter. Gap has shrunk to about 0.3 of a second, but these two drivers just are locked to the back of each other. Carter really sent it in. You saw how he was fighting that wheel on entry. He's going to lose a couple tenths to Jones, and hopefully he didn't heat up those rears too much sliding on entry. As now Jones going to have to deal with a 5 car of Jace Nelson. Nelson gets into the wall trying to let the 3 and the 4 car by. Gap for Barrett Canning has extended to 3.6 seconds. And Asher Hansen and Chad Bremer running about equal lap times here. Last time a 4:09 for Asher Hansen, a 16.37 for Chad Bremer. So Bremer's very slowly catching that one if he keeps running consistent laps like these. by about half a tenth per lap. Bremer is slowly trying to reel in Hansen. You see Hansen is having a very loose race car here. And maybe we'll see Bremer sneak his way into second, but Barrett Canning has this race on easy mode right now. No one's really been able to challenge him all race. And it's just been a matter of keeping the car out of trouble. Most of the action here has been from around second to sixth. As Hansen's really feeling the pressure from Chad Bremer mounting, I should say. Because Hansen's really trying to push that car on the entry to get it to rotate more. We got 10 laps to go here at South Boston. And finally, Asher Hansen starting to set faster laps than Chad Bremer. Jared Carter still all over the back end of Mike Jones. Will we see Carter get closer to Jones and maybe even give him a little bit of a nudge here? I just can't help but think how much time Carter's losing potential time Carter's losing to Jones in 3 by drifting up about half a lane. As you can see, he misses the bottom by about half a lane and then gets down to it. When if you look at Barrett Canning coming into turn 3, Canning's still keeping it more or less on the bottom, trying to paint that line. But Asher Hansen's starting to pull away from Chad Bremer. Thought that it was going to be a good battle. Maybe if Hansen gets stuck behind Batzer a little bit, but I don't really see that happening. Batzer's good at letting people by. Only way I can see Bremer getting around Hansen is if he gets really held up. As Batzer really let in him, and Bremer really sent it into the corner. But yeah, Batzer took a little bit of time, but he finally got Asher Hansen by him. As Barrett Canning has lapped all the way up into 7th place. Granted, we have 12 cars in the field, but up to 7th here in only 53 laps. Just shows how fast this 2 car is, considering that cars really haven't wrecked all that much. But Canning just trying to coast this car home. He's got a 3.5 second gap to Asher Hansen. White flag in the air for Barrett Canning, as he's got 2 lap cars of Cipollini and Nelson in front of him, and Canning running high in the corners. He's going to take the first win here of the season at South Boston, the first win of the second season of the SRX broadcasted series, and I am very glad to be able to broadcast this series. Thank you for returning to watching, but now that Barrett Canning has jumped into pit lane, we can show you the race results. Coming home with the win is Barrett Canning, and in second place is Asher Hansen. Very strong third place running from the 7 car of Chad Bremer. And then in 4th, Mike Jones wins the battle over 5th place, Jared Carter. In 6th, it is Nico Cipollini, just outside the top 5 and almost the first car 1 lap down. But that honor goes to Zach Hummel in the 6th car. James Batzer comes home 8th place in the number 9 car. Jace Nelson falls back to 9th after a promising start to his second ever race in SRX. Finishes just inside the top 10. And Nicholas Gotts rounds out your top 10, 3 laps down. first car outside of the top 10 is Drew Brent in the number 10 car, then followed by Steve Anderson. Anderson did not finish the race, so he will be credited with 12th place. Thank you for watching the SRX broadcasted split. My name is Garrett Hess. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Y'all take it easy.